Getting ready to go, Fujo.
I think, with this being a resale shop, I got the higher brand stuff,
This is the other part of Cypress Water entrance. It's full of artwork. And Linda and I actually went there, and there's this one thing that was like a bell tower kind of thing, looking thing that's there. It's a modern art kind of thing. But that's actually cool. And this is Cypress Waters right here, which is a really neat place to go. There's a lot of restaurants, all kinds of stuff. And that tower right there says Cypress Water, right on the edge of Capel. It's a really cool band too that have gotten a lot of flack. These guys right here. Too far from here is a place called Bruno's. And it's basically like right over here. It's Bruno's Italian restaurant. It's where one of the Cowboy quarterbacks used to eat, the one that hung out with that pop star that, I don't know if it's Jessica Simpson or whatever. Billy Corgan ended up with her, but it was Romo. Romo used to eat there. It was some place called Bruno's, not too far, probably back that way. So it looks like because of the freeze in February, and we're dealing with May right now, May 12th of 2021, they're checking the pipes. Looks like it's probably United Rentals. They're checking all these different pipes all throughout here. So I went to Redbox right here, and I rented a pretty good movie. You can kind of see it. You kind of see it a little bit. I'm going to look at one letter at a time. Just kind of looking at each letter so you can kind of focus on it. Kind of see it through the red box. I really like Redbox. I think Redbox is good. It's usually up to $2. You get to see some really important films. A lot of really good films I've seen on Redbox. And Nomadland is, it's going to be an interesting one. Now, the first thing that I'm going to have to mention, two things that I want to talk about with Chloe. Wow. First, Terrence Malick. So, somewhere down the line, you have to pay tribute to Terrence Malick. Now, it's not Terrence Malick that made it. I don't want to confuse anyone. But it was Chloe who directed Nomadland and Frances McDormand from Fargo. And it wasn't Fargo, it was Nomadland. I think she won an Oscar for both films, but I think she made that film, Without her, I don't think the film would have been really anything. But yeah, there's some really important aspects about current day working situations of 2011, situations where people, when a factory pulls out or a factory closes down, the whole zip code closes down and they have to leave town. And she happened to have to jump in a van, Adamthewoo style, or, Chrome Valdez style, or, a lot of people style that have to jump in a van and live life. The interesting aspect of the film is, once again, the character, the humanity of the protagonist. Although it was beautifully shot, I just kept thinking, wow, Terrence Malick is or was, such a great director. Of course, Chloe did a good job at trying to find some style as she could in filmmaking. Style comes from struggle, not from perfection. If you want to know the truth, style comes from struggle. Style doesn't come from perfection. You can't perfect a style, but it comes from struggle. It comes from humanity. That's where style comes from. And I think Chloe is starting to find, something there. But I think a lot of that reminded me of Terrence Malick, who is one of our best directors. Did a film called Badlands, and if you notice, there's a moment where the characters use the word Badlands in it, and they're in the Badlands area, but it starts off in Nevada, kind of goes around, follows. Now, another thing that's interesting, it was based on a book. There's not a whole lot of dialogue, but there is some. But I can see why it won Best Picture. Now, the next one that I want to see, if I can find it, is the really important film that I think is called The Sound of Metal. But I did like Nomadland. I'd have to go back and kind of watch it to understand why it exactly won Best Picture. And I think Frances McDormand is probably one of the reasons why. But I got to go turn it in right here. But I think she's probably one of the reasons why that film did so well. I'm going to the CVS. I got to wait on this guy right here. Can't really see. I called the lawyer's office today, and they said that the judge looks at how many times you go to the hospital during an assault. Because a Burger King employee assaulted me October 6th of 2019. And you have to have all these medical reports and stuff like that. And I guess the jaw doesn't hurt that bad, and I'm able to chew, and I am able to speak. So I just have to put up with the nuances and the annoyance of the guy hitting me, because they look at how many times you go to the hospital is what they look at. I guess the guy hit me, but he didn't hit me hard enough, so I don't know. Anyways, there it is right here. So I didn't go over to the hospital right here, didn't visit the doctor enough. But that's just one lawyer. I'm going to keep looking. Eventually I am going to sue him. Probably the person that hit me and Burger King. I'll find a way to do it. But eventually it'll happen. So here's the news on getting assaulted. So when you get assaulted, the most important thing you want to do is call an ambulance. That's the most important thing. You do want to file a police report. Either go to the police station, or you can file the police report with a police officer. I know I talk about stun guns and stuff like that, but just be courteous to the police officer, if you can, because some of them do need retraining. But file the report, but go and get an ambulance. You want to visit the doctor many, many times, as many times as you can, and you want to complain of pain over and over and over and over again. I got a phone call coming. So the second lawyer called me today and said without medical records, they can't take the case. Even though the assault did happen, the guy did punched me. And they said without medical records, there's just no way. So it's a slight injury, enough to cause pain, damage, but I'd have to see a doctor for the doctor to look at it and say this is exactly the extent. And right now with COVID, and we got 500,000 people in the nation dead because of coronavirus, and we're talking about millions globally, is it worth it? No, not really. I mean, it might be, I don't know. Depends on how much it bothers me, really. Usually it only really bothers me if I go, I don't know, like a day without food. You know, if I fast, it sometimes will start hurting. So Adamthewoo is driving around with his dad in Florida, Pensacola, Florida. His dad was a minister. I don't know the denomination. I've been trying to figure it out. I know they mentioned a Pentecostal church. I don't know their denomination, but his dad is, I guess, a supporter of Adamthewoo, or Adam West, or Adam Divine, or Adam whatever his name is. I heard another name, Adam Williams. I've heard that. Anyway, Adamthewoo, whoever he is. So he has his childhood in Florida, and it's pretty good. You know, I got a little teary-eyed in a little segment where he talks about his dad's van, because I know Adam had to travel around in a van and vlog things. He probably brought filming locations popular. Now, he didn't invent filming locations. Neither did I. But he at least brought attention to filming locations in a very interesting way. And abandoned structures in kind of a artsy Shepherd Ferry kind of hip way. I guess sometimes he looks kind of hip. You don't look hip. Well, you hip? What? Are you hip? Doing my Harvey Keitel. Well, you don't look hip. Adamthewoo. Walk around Florida. He likes to vlog things. Let's go get some tacos. But you know what I mean. You know, he's got his dad. Dad's driving around with him, and second day, the journey. Pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. About an hour-long vlog. I watched all of it. It was pretty good. It's interesting. He's bringing kind of the cinematic, kind of, well, not really cinematic, but kind of a, I guess, movie storytelling kind of aspect to vlogging, you know, recalling memory, using photographs, things like that. Printed photographs. I don't know if he's getting it from CVS or Walgreens, or if he got a great printer at home. But he's been pretty serious in the vlogging thing by going to Hollywood, you know, and becoming famous, and then throwing these little vlogs out to the world. And then he basically was the reason Jordan the Lion is what he is today, and Shelley Winters. Shelley Winters helped Jordan the Lion. And then you got Breck Roll in Waco. Yee! But I'm mostly like, look at this thing right here. It's like a bunch of drills or whatever. But, you know, I kind of thought about my jaw, and I thought, you know, I can still talk, you know. Freaking Latino guy wanted to hit somebody, you know. Want to sucker punch a movie star. I mean, I do have an internet movie database. They wanted to watch me suffer. It kind of makes me think about what Bradley Cooper said, who I kind of hope wins a freaking Oscar, so that he can give me some work. It kind of makes me think what Bradley Cooper said about how people love to watch other people suffer. And I think I agree with him on some of the things. I think the reason why Bradley Cooper, is going on 4 minutes, Bradley Cooper became a movie star was, I think he was probably kind of like a writer coming out of Georgetown. So he had kind of a writer's sense of thinking about certain things. because he asked a really good question to De Niro, and asking good questions I guess maybe can make you famous. I don't know. And, you know, he's a pretty good looking guy and all that stuff. But, I mean, what's that mean, you know? It's not like Dustin Hoffman's Brad Pitt or anything. And I think Dustin Hoffman's a better actor than most all of them. Although De Niro is good. And De Niro is the reason why Bradley. But anyway, get back to Adamthewoo, is that now we have the ability, because of these things that we have, to vlog ourselves. Almost like flog, but vlog, vlog. And you can watch me suffer. But that's kind of what we have the ability to do. So don't go off and hit a vlogger. You know, if you see someone vlogging, don't just run up to them and hit them. If they're at a Burger King, don't hit them. You know, they might do something, but don't hit them. But I'm sure the jackass guys, I'm sure they've been hit. And I'm sure they fell down and hurt something. So I called the Dallas Police Department to file a report over the phone, which I have filed an assault case before for a friend of mine that was assaulted by her friend. And when I called the Dallas Police Department to file the assault about the case that happened in October 6th at the Burger King, they said, you can't file an assault case over the phone. So I guess, you know, they need, like, you know, you have to be there in person or whatever. So you can't even file a case for the crime. You can't do it over the phone. So you have to go in and risk your life because of COVID, because of Corona. But she ended up hanging up on me. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I could go in, file it, but then again, you can always catch Corona. So I don't know. It's just real dangerous right now. It's real dangerous to, you know, try to go in and file like a police report, go in and see a doctor. You're just increasing your chances of actually contacting or contacting someone that may have Corona or COVID. You know, so you have to deal with that kind of stuff. Jason's delis are still pretty good. I was criminally trespassed from a Jason's Deli in Louisville. Actually, a different area. Still pretty good, though. You only get one trip. So you can pick out a little bit, but you can only get like one, you know, like you got to go by there and pile up everything. But it's probably better for your diet, you know, not to go too crazy on it. It's not really that good to eat a bunch of greens all the time, but it is good for you, though. You want to do it every once in a while. This cup must have spilled or something. The bottom of that. I gotta get some napkins right over here. But, you know, like the same annoying people are there. You know, their kids running around jumping on the booths, little cushion booths, whatever you want to call it, you know, the partition, jumping around, kind of annoying thing. No cops came in and served me a trespass warrant or anything. Nothing happened at all. I just went in and ate and left. No one got up in my mug or anything. Got some olives and spinach and carrots and all the good stuff. Mom got a hold of me and she said, you know, some of those vlogs you're doing, Cole, are very funny. And I know they're funny because a lot of it is a lot of tremendous acting, because I don't stutter. Okay. I pronounce everything perfectly. All the mistakes and all that kind of, all that's on purpose, by the way. All those little, me acting like a dork and all this stuff, the weight gain and everything. I don't weigh 210 pounds. I weigh 170. I put on weight for all this. You go back and look at my bulb stuff, I'm 150 pounds. I'm pretty much pure muscle. I mean, I'm a big, strong, sexy man. I've been on television, international. I was on Bravo. So every time you hear any type of mispronunciation, all of that is planned perfectly, and even some of it's scripted. You can even check out one of the vlogs that's about Brahms. All that's scripted. So am I a good actor? I don't know. Maybe you decide if I am or not. All that's subjective. Was Pollock a good painter? Was try acting, dear boy. Was Vincent Van Gogh good? Pollock was good. It's worth a lot. Andy Warhol, he was a good, was a good painter. I don't know. It's all subjective. So this chick I know that's from Florida, I was thinking about going to Florida to vlog Walt Disney World. What I really want to do, and I'm not going to tell you my plan on what I really want to vlog in Walt Disney World, but I do want to go to Walt Disney World. I thought about Six Flags, but man, I had season passes at Six Flags when I was a kid. Six Flags is just, I don't know. But Walt Disney World does look pretty cool. I think Walt Disney World's cooler than Disneyland. I've been to both. But I'm not going to tell you my plans on when I'm going to go to Walt Disney World. But when I was sitting there talking to this chick, she's like, "You're better looking than Adamthewoo." And I said, she immediately said it. She goes, "You're better looking than that guy." So I was like, wow. I mean, I am better looking than Jordan the Lion, don't get me wrong. Little ginger motherfucker run around with a little lap dog. How y'all doing? I hope you said well. But it made me think, maybe I should. But then, it's expensive. It's a big thing. Like I was thinking, if I do it, I'd have to put aside at least $600 just to give it an attempt for a day or two. Oh no, there's a psycho behind me. I know these weird guys coming around Texas, going around this way right there. You can tell immediately. I mean, the guy gets in the F-150 and starts flipping out because his daddy bought him a truck. There, you can see the cars moving. There goes a diesel truck, a little 16-wheeler. And if you just look right there where my finger's pointing, you can see those two side columns sticking up right there. And over to the left, if you look at that flag blowing, you see that's an American flag blowing there. You slowly move over this way, and that Buc-ee's right there is the Buc-ee's that Cole Spivey vlogs. It's right over on that side. You can see where the diesel truck or the two 16-wheelers going by this way. You can kind of see this railing has been in some of the footage here. There goes another 16-wheeler right there. There's another one. And if you look at these two columns, you'll see clearly that actually is supporting a Buc-ee sign. And over on the top part right there, see where the diesel truck or the two 16-wheelers going by this way. If you're going over this way, like that way, you can right around, right around. Right. And I don't know if girls dig guys that like Buc-ee's and things like that, I mean, back in the day it was Tom Cruise, now it's, like Brad Pitt, that one guy that was in Drive, what was his name? I don't know his name. I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, they want guys that, that are tip-top and shape. You got to diet, work out nonstop over and over and over again, lifting weights nonstop and stuff like that. I mean, they want money, don't get me wrong, but these Republican fat asses that think it's just about money, they're retards, big time. These Republicans that think that women just want money, and they're a bunch of fat fucking donuts, and excuse my language, but they're big old lard butts. Women don't want that stuff. They want to be respected. They want you working out and as much as you can, They want you working hard, No one just wants a rich weirdo that's going to pay them off and treat them like an object. They want a knight, a strong man, or at least, I mean, they don't have to be Sylvester Stallone, but they have to at least have, a desire, things like that. I mean, do they like Bucky lovers? Maybe, I don't know. They sometimes like a sense of humor, I guess, is one thing. I guess that's one thing I guess they like. I guess to a certain degree. They like some film nerds. It just depends on the woman, I guess. Like the opening of the Cure Disintegration. See you soon, Blue. This is NPR. Consider this. It's top down, about 3 generations of people dealing with police officer abuse. And one of the statements, one of the chief people, authority figures of police officers said that most police officers do everything by regulation, follow the law. I happen to believe that that's not true. I happen to know for a fact that every single police officer in the United States of America and across the world has broken the law. Okay? Every single one of them. All right? Somewhere down the line. If any police officer wants to stand before the world and say, I have never broken a law, they're a complete, utter liar. What am I doing here? Chick-fil-A, I don't know if you can really see. Yeah, you can see the sign right here. But anyway, usually at every Chick-fil-A, there's a minimum of at least 3 or 4 hotties. What I mean by that, I mean beautiful women. This is South Lake area, so there's probably more like 5 or 6 hotties. But Sprouts too. Sprouts is another place where there are some hotties. If you ever go to Sprouts, there's hotties there too. Real beautiful women. So I saw some magnolias right here. You can kind of see them. They're all over the place. Or in South Lake, there's another one, magnolia tree. You're gonna come across a few more right here. And there's bigger magnolia trees too. There's some really big ones that I haven't vlogged. These are just smaller ones that sometimes you see them in people's trees. I'm sorry, in their yard. Okay, this is a little area in South Lake, Lonesome Dove Avenue. And that's one of the houses there, but it's not too far from where I was raised. And I did grow up in a trailer, so we did grow up very poor. That's a very nice house. But we went from rags to riches, and then back, well, rags to riches and then to middle class. So we did have a rich stint in the 1980s. By the time, Rambo came out, say Ronald Reagan was president, my dad was actually a millionaire. But we started off in a trailer, so my dad worked for the railroad, so we were very, very poor. Pretty poor. I remember one Christmas we rolled up these aluminum foil balls and used those as ornaments for the Christmas tree, but we did have a Christmas tree. And we were living on my grandparents' property in a trailer. And then I would say by the time I was 9, we were moved into a mansion. So we really very much rags to riches. And then eventually, because of EPA and a bunch of other stuff, and this is a whole nice little area, eventually we went back to middle class. So you can have a lot and then you can lose it. There's different ways. EPA fine and stuff like that. Now I don't know for sure. Not all my family is middle class. Some of my family are billionaire status on my dad's side. So they're not all poor by far. I think I might have missed the turn. I was going to show you this one house that's very, very nice. There's some magnolia trees, so this is the right one. Those are actually, I guess you could call it I guess it is a tree, a magnolia bush. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the left here. We're on Dove Road. I'm gonna show you this house. Okay, that's one nice house right there. It's one of the nice ones in this area. But here is the one that you can't really see from this road. There's the brick wall or the rock wall that they're building. It's right past these trees. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I'll put it on a fish eye. Kind of see. It's right there. You can't really even see it. You can see a tail end of it. I'm listening to awards chatter. Here's Martin Scorsese responding to Fran Lebowitz. It's like worse than Seinfeld. Now, this is actually a pretty big magnolia tree. It's actually quite large. I would probably say this could be a record breaker. It's a very large magnolia tree, and right underneath the tree there is actually some literature. So this is quite impressive. I don't know if you can see, that's a normal size mailbox about right over here, and that's the tree. So the actual tree is maybe bigger than the house. And these, I'm gonna do some isolation shots. But there is something underneath that tree, and this is actually quite amazing. See about right here, that's one magnolia, and this is a very, very large tree. I'll try to get the street name just a minute. $1823 is the address, so I'm gonna get the street in just a minute. That's a very, very, very large tree. for a front yard tree. Look how it extends over here too. It may not seem that large on camera, I really don't know, but that tree is bigger than the house. It's a lot of trees in that front yard. Now Manchester is the cross street, and we're on Camelot right here. Thanks. These are actually really good examples of trees in a neighborhood that are just, you know, amazing. These are really nice trees. Now I'm gonna spin around here. Coming up this way, I'm gonna spin around, and this is on Manchester, so not too far from some amazing trees. And I'm gonna show you some amazing trees. This whole neighborhood right here is pretty incredible. Got a lot of them right here. Look at the size of this one right here. It's pretty amazing right there. This is off at Camelot, Newcastle. And we're coming around this way right here. Look at this one right here. We've got some major trees right here. And these are some pines right in here. It's just absolutely amazing. Even some of the texture, some of those trees looks kind of very jungly. You're a kid kind of growing up, you can see kind of the jungle aspect of these trees. And then we've got more of them right here. Really nice trees. And this one right here is actually a very large tree right here. You're gonna see a real nice shot right here. You just watch right here. Isn't that nice? Isn't that something? Just like Easy Andy. Isn't that nice? Right there. Isn't that nice? Isn't that something? Isn't that nice right there? Real nice. And right in this way. Really nice stuff right here. We're gonna be coming back up on that magnolia tree. And right next to that magnolia tree is an amazing size of tree. There's the house, there's the magnolia tree. Just amazing right there. Probably was a tree of life. This one right here is an amazing tree right here. Regardless, it's in my vlog. And then more magnolias right here. You're gonna hear a little slight focus thing, so just cover your ears if you don't like that. Do you hear that? Cover your ears if you don't like that. There's a really nice one right there. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Hey, you know where South Lake is? Hey, Cal. You don't know? Oh, there's a little baby cow. Home on the range. Where's the buffalo? One thing Fran Libowitz said about writers, or she just kind of brought it up about books, is, can you read a book from a bad person, meaning a person that, wrote a book that was immoral, or a person that was a bad person that wrote a book, and there's plenty of them, St. Paul, he wrote half the Bible. It was a horrible murder, horrific murder, stoned people to death. And wrote a published, well, it's beyond published, it's in every hotel room across the nation. It's called the New Testament. And, of course, Hitler, he wrote a book called Mein Kampf, and that was published and still published. You can still get copies of it today. And he killed, 6 million, 6 million people. More than that, probably. He probably killed more than 6 million because, well, he didn't just kill Jewish people. He also killed people that were different. He killed gypsies. He killed anyone that he wanted to, really. He killed a lot of people. He published a book. So, yeah, a book can be published by a wrong person, or a bad person, or an evil person. And in many cases, we'll look at Tommy knockers. Stephen King wrote that on probably more cocaine that could kill a fleet of elephants. Hey, Cal. Oh, not you. Hey, Cal. Hey. Yo. Can you hear me? Hey, Cal. You doing okay? You know, you got a number 983 on your ear. Just letting you know. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
So, you've got George Floyd, for an example. The cat that got shot in Mesquite, or the black man that got shot in Mesquite just recently. You're going to find a common denominator with all of those people. They're all harassed by bully police officers that don't know how to de-escalate. Some do, some will. Either out of fear or just because they're trained well and they're intelligent, they'll de-escalate. About every single call should be a de-escalation call in their mind. Because really, they shouldn't bother anybody. Now, George Floyd had many, many encounters with the police, okay? So finally, he was killed over a $20 bill. Now that police officer is in prison, okay? They're gonna start creating an app. What you need to do, and I'm educating you, if you come across a police officer in a traffic stop, you come across a police officer at the mall, you come across a police officer at 7-Eleven at the Slurpee station that's giving you problems, get their badge number. Go to that department, file a complaint against them with their badge number and their name. They get enough complaints, they're fired. Just the other day, an officer was fired for pulling a man out of a trash can by his dreads. They grabbed his dreads, they pulled him out of the trash can. Now, he was a suspect, but they fired him anyway. So they're starting to fire him. You got to go to their department with their badge number and their name. You have to file the complaint. File the complaint. I know it's trouble. You don't want to do it, but file the complaint. They get enough complaints to get them, they're out. Those are the ones they're looking for. If an officer bothers you for any reason at all, any reason, file the complaint. Always. For any reason. Even if you're wrong. Because trust me, they're wrong too. And if they stand out there and they say, no, I'm not wrong, then they're crazy. Everybody's flawed. Okay? Nobody is above the law. Not even police officers are above the law. File the complaint. Get them fired. We need to hire psychologists with stun guns.